Okie dokie. Doo 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 doo. Doo 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 doo. Hey. Oh, sure. Now my rice gets done. Gotta be hungry for this thing. Doo doo. Guess we'll just start off in a direction. How's my drink? Is it warm enough? Wish it was a tad warmer, but it works. Ooh, ah, ooh, that's good. Ooh. What are we talking about first? Language. Let me get the link out to all the social medias. My channel. I don't even know if anybody's watching yet. Unfortunately, there's a moment. There's lag. Probably gonna run right into that mountain. No, hey, oh, dang it. Oh, there's one. I'm assuming that's you, Shane. Just gonna go this way. Chilltalk. There we go. Put it in my story. Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry that took so long. That one solitary viewer that seems to have now fled. Ah. Where are all the viewers? Oh, where can they be? Up on. I'm only gonna be on here for half an hour, is what I was thinking. Viewers? I don't know, there may be somebody watching right now. The only issue is, again, there's lag in the thing, so I can't actually tell. It'll be a couple minutes before the thing will pop up and tell me that somebody's watching. Oh, I'll bet I know what that one viewer was. That was me! Ha! 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 Oh, that's disappointing. That's very disappointing. Let's see, how long does it take? Let's see, 1,000, 2, 1,003, 1,004, 1,005, 1,006, 1,007, 1,008, 1,010, 1,011, 1,012, 1,013, 1,014, 1,017, 18, 20, 1,000. Oh my gosh! That's behind a full 23 seconds. That's ridiculous. Woof! Got a full 23 seconds. You know what? Maybe that'll be better for my numbers if I leave it up there. We're gonna try that. We're gonna leave it on here. We're gonna leave it on here. And that way, you know, 1 is infinitely better than 0. Still in the grand scheme of things. Oh, shoot! And then there was another. There's somebody who's not me. Is that you, Shane? This thing is 25 seconds behind. Or at least it takes 25 seconds for somebody to get on before it'll actually tell me that that person is watching. So yeah, there is that. How you doing? If you happen to not be Shane, then please, by all means, leave a comment there down below so I can know who I'm talking to. But yeah, with our one viewer, might as well go ahead and get the show on the road, huh? So, random first-person topic. Random topic that we have first. So I'm a history major, and essentially what that means is you write a bunch of papers about history and you argue stuff. That's essentially all it is. Because the fun thing about history is there's really no way to know that what we are talking about actually happened. I mean, people can leave writings, they can leave behind artifacts, there's all sorts of things that we can do to make educated guesses about what happened in the past, but we don't really know. Nobody was actually there. And so essentially history is just arguing. And as part of arguing, you write papers. You write stuff explaining why you think your idea is right and why everybody else's is stupid. Now, academic writing, at least at like a university academic journal level, they very, very much get after you if you use passive voice. And passive is essentially using to be all the time, even though to be is like one of my favorite characters. Essentially, a passive sentence is like well, an active sentence, which is the opposite of passive, would be the dog eats food. Now, if you were to turn that into a passive form, that would become the food is eaten by the dog. Passive voice essentially changes the subject, changes the active object, and turns that into the subject. And then usually has another part of speech that I don't remember what it is, as you know, the actor, so to speak. But history writings, academic writing, do not like that, because to be, while it does communicate. I mean, it can be used to communicate certain things, or rather, passive voice can be used to communicate certain things. It's not very efficient in its language. Like anything that you can say in a passive voice, you can say in an active voice and get way more to the point. It's way more declarative. It's way more powerful, which is why in Japanese you often use passive voice to be a little more honorific, because it's more beat around the bush. Passive voice in Japanese also has an extra thing where, like, it can denote like a state of unhappiness. Like, if you say, the food was eaten by my friend, tabemono wa tomodachi ni taberareta, has the connotation that that was my food, and my friend just kind of ate it, and now I'm kind of pissed about it. But yeah, to be is not an efficient way to speak. It's not very powerful. It's not straightforward. It can make things very confusing, and so therefore academic writing is not a big fan of it. So if ever you're in a situation and you're writing for somebody and you really want to get a point across, do not use passive voice. The less you use the word to be, or is, or am, or are, the better. So that was just a real simple one. But let's what's the word? Oh, there's a word. I can't remember. But speaking of language, let's transition this into talk about whatchamacallit? Poetry. This is a far more interesting topic, and it kind of sucks that the one viewer who's actually watching me is now gone, because now we're going to actually talk about something that's way cooler. By the way, I don't know if anybody knows this, if anybody's watching. The intent of this is not to have somebody watch me, per se. It's more to just, like, plug in, listen to passively while you're doing other stuff. Maybe you'll catch a couple of words here and there that'll, you know, set your brain thinking. Maybe get all of that think out of your head before you go to sleep. The next topic we got going on is poetry. Specifically, one of my favorite poems and one of my favorite readings of a poem, The Raven. The Raven is written by Edgar Allan Poe. The reading, if you guys want to check it out, is amazing. It's done by Christopher Lee, who, if you don't know, is the voice behind Count Dooku's Saruman. Saruman is probably what he's known best for. But I found this almost a year ago. A little more than a year ago. Gosh, it's been that long. But I remember because, you know, in high school, everybody in America learns about Edgar Allan Poe and his short stories, his horror spin on everything, and how he liked to write about crazy people. You know, the usual stuff. And I remember during that time we read The Raven, but... Oh, excuse me. I was a plebeian, as most of us were back in the days. So I did not appreciate how amazing this poem actually was. I didn't take note of it. I didn't care about it. So I just lumped it in. I just forgot about it. And remembered that there was a raven that said nevermore or something like that. And lumped it in with the remainder of stuff and things I didn't care about. So I totally forgot about it, and I just assumed that it was a horror. It was a horror piece, just like everything else Edgar Allan Poe ever wrote. You know? So fast forward, or rewind, to about a year ago. Fast forward to about a year ago. Fast forward from the time I was in high school. Rewind from the time that I was from now. Okay. So about a year ago, I'm sitting there playing Overwatch, you know, like I do. And I started playing Reaper a lot, because everybody counters Genji now. And for Reaper, I had his Nevermore skin. You know, the one that's Raven themed. And you know, of course, the skin itself is called Nevermore, and the little description of it when you look it up in the little item thing says, "Quoth the Raven, Nevermore." Aggro, it's okay if you don't follow me, I promise. And you know, I assumed that it was a horror piece. And we're sitting there playing Overwatch, and you mentioned, you know, I kill somebody with Reaper, and he says nevermore. And yeah, I repeated it because I was like, oh, that's cool. And then one of my friends, I think it was actually my cousin, funnily enough, who goes, what is that even from? I was like being what I thought was a smart person back in the day, but as we come to find out, I'm really not smart. I go, oh, that's from Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. It's a horror story. Duh. Don't you remember high school? Was this cave always here? I don't remember this cave. But anyway, I'm just like, durr. It's Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. It's scary. And so I whipped out my phone and I typed in The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe, and I looked it up and I was like, oh, it's a short story. I'll read it for you. Because I was bored and I had nothing else to do. Then I start reading it. And much to my surprise, it's not a horror story. In fact, it's not a story, it's a poem. Decently long poem, but it's a poem nonetheless. And it is anything but scary. So I'm reading it, and I start reading a story about this guy who's just sad and alone, and who's just pining and just longing for this lost love, Lenore, you know. And he just doesn't know how to go on, and he's trying to distract himself by turning into books, which back in the late 1800s was essentially our version of playing video games. So there's a bit of relation. There's some Dolcon, some sympathy going on right there. you know. And I hear this story, just this desperate, dark longing and desire. He just wants more than anything to see his love again, but she's gone. Now, my original interpretation was that she had left him, but I guess the actual interpretation is she is dead, which I should have figured, given that it's Edgar Allan Poe, and he likes dead people. But anyway, actually I'm going to hop back on aggro, so that way I don't have to hold forward. But anyway, so I'm so touched by this. It's just sad and tragic, and the rhyme scheme of it is great, and so I'm like, oh man, this is amazing. And so I was like, oh, well, I want to hear it. I want to hear it read. So I look up on YouTube, and of course the first one I find is that Christopher Lee rendition, which got the music, and Christopher Lee's just honeyed voice, just, oh, be still my beating heart. I mean, I don't roll that way, but that voice could do a lot of things to convince me. Anyway. So I'm listening to this amazing, and I'm finally getting a bit of the rhyme scheme. And again, not only with the music and the emphasis and the emotional, the emotion that comes out in Christopher Lee's voice as well, and it just hits right in the coconut, right in the feels, man. I can't even. And so of course I have to share it, and then I go on this freaking Edgar Allan Poe The Raven gig for a couple months, during which I actually managed to memorize the whole thing. And again, not only was the poem itself just amazing in its subject matter and the way it delivered and the way it could get into your emotions and the way, you know, the pacing, for lack of a better term, the way it starts off soft and it builds up and then it kind of goes down and it builds up again and it just crescendos and just drops a rock on you. Oh, not only was that amazing, but the rhyme scheme of it all. It rhymed so well, and it stuck to its guns, and I was just like, not only is this just powerful emotionally, but, like, mechanically, it's also freaking amazing. Like, oh my goodness. And so this essentially now became my favorite poem of all time ever. Because not only is it emotionally resonant, but it's also a freaking masterpiece, linguistically speaking. I can't rhyme like that. Rap people can't even rhyme like that. The problem with rap is, and this is going on a totally new tangent, but that's what we do. That's what we do here. Problem with rap. Yes, they rhyme, but they rhyme the most basic, boring vocabulary there is. Rap is not complicated. There's usually nothing further beyond the surface level. Usually. So it's far easier to rhyme like that, and even when it does, when it does rhyme, it's still not as impressive as when you, like, be that word or sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shriek upstarting, you know, like, come on, like, that's just so much more impressive than rhyming ho with mo, or faux show, you know, like, come on, that's not even insane. But so anyway, why I decided to pick this topic was because a year after I found the Raven, you know, and after I had shown everybody, my cousin, funnily enough, I think the one who asked me where Nevermore comes from, he found that reading, and he listened to it, and it punched him right in the feels, too. And then he got on the Raven kick for I don't even know how long. And he's just like, guys, I can't, like, it's just so powerful. I'm like, I know, dude, and you know you can't put it into words. You can't put it into words, but you have to try somehow, because your brain and your heart is just like, I can't contain all the feels, I need to share them somehow. And so therefore it tries to express itself, which is the ultimate aim of poetry, is how do we express these complex, deeper emotions that we can't express through words, which is funny, because that's what poetry is. Poetry is words. But poetry, if done correctly, can express feelings and emotions deeper than just its base words can. If that makes any sort of sense. Like, yes, ostensibly, I mean, the poem in and of itself, The Raven. Oh, dang it, Aggro, you're an idiot. You know what, you can limp, that's your own stupid fault. But where the Raven is actually, it actually talks about the sadness and how hard it was, and the words themselves do convey the emotion of it. But the ultimate aim of poetry is to use words to express things that words by themselves cannot express. Again, that's kind of a complicated thing to say, but like, if the same kind of things had been said but without the rhyme scheme and with a different cadence and not in meter or rhyme, it wouldn't be as powerful and you wouldn't be able to communicate the depth of the emotion as well. And that's what art is. Art is trying to express those things, trying to express something that words alone just can't do. So, needless to say, The Raven is freaking amazing. Please go check out Christopher Lee's reading of it. It's fantastic and absolutely amazing. And Shane just messaged me. When did he message me? Is he watching me now? Oh. No, he sent me a thing. I'll look at that later. Alright, next topic. So, to transition from The Raven into the next topic. The Raven's a depressing poem, like super depressing. And I absolutely love it. Because I am a depressing person. I love sad things. That's right. I don't want to hold for it. I am a very depressing person. I like dark things. I like bleak. I like grim. I like sad, tragic, morose, melancholy, all those sorts of downer buzzwords. Which is part of the reason why The Raven resonated with me so much. But there's so many people out there, like, society as a whole isn't too keen on downer, depressing people. In fact, I just got done talking with my mom. She called me to check up, as moms do. And, I told her I'm a depressing person. And she, was like, oh, you shouldn't be a depressing person. You shouldn't be sad, and blah, 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 blah. And society as a whole kind of thinks that, Like, being sad or being angry is a bad thing. Now, it is, but it also isn't, Like, it is a bad thing. Because if you're sad or you're angry, obviously something in your life has gone wrong. Something bad has happened to you. And that's generally how you react to bad things, But, and you see this in Mormon culture a lot, is when bad things happen and people think that they need to take their negative emotions and just shove them somewhere in a closet. Like, no, I can't be sad. I can't be sad. I'm supposed to be happy all the time. Because life is all about your outlook, Life is all about your outlook, and as long as you have a positive, go-get-em attitude, everything will be great, and you will be happy. Problem is, you can't sustain that. You can't be happy all the time. You can't be chipper and bright and all those other positive buzzwords. You can't do that. You will go insane. And what happens in Mormon culture is the people who try to do that end up breaking, and then they just give up on everything. Because they've tried to not be sad for so long. But whereas people like for me, again, I am a dark, depressing type of person. And because of this, I just accept when I'm angry. I just accept when I'm lonely. I just accept when I'm sad. And through doing that, I come to terms with my emotions. Like, this is what I'm feeling right now, And so I deal with it. I'm sad right now, and I listen to The Raven, or I look up frickin' Robert Frost poems, or when I'm angry, I listen to, like, some of the heaviest, most brutal metal you can imagine, and I curse humanity and rail on how much I hate them, and just life sucks and the world is dumb and all that stuff. And then I'm angry for a while, and then I'm good, you know? Like, I've dealt with my emotions, I've faced them, I dealt with them, there's some catharsis, and now I'm not mad anymore, you know? Shane sent me another thing. Turn it off, okay. Book of Mormon. But yeah. So, and if everybody was chipper all the time, if everybody was happy, then chipper would not mean anything. Happy, bright, wonderful, that would just be the dumbest. There'd be no meaning in it. And so, we need depressing people like me, because not only can I help people learn to deal with their negative emotions in a way that isn't, you know, in a productive way, and teach people that it's okay to be angry. You are going to be angry sometimes. You are going to be sad. You are going to be lonely. Don't and when you're feeling these emotions, it's okay, and you have a right to feel this way. You have a right to. But, you know, make people understand that they don't need to hate themselves for feeling that they're angry or that they're sad. Because if they get mad, and then they get mad at themselves for getting mad, then they just get mad at themselves for getting even madder, and then it's just a cycle that never stops. It's like, you know what, it's fine. You're angry. You're angry. Be angry. Be angry. Be sad. Yell, expletives, freaking cry, like freaking just get it out. Just do it, be done with it, and then you can move on, you know? And then by having a bleak, kind of depressing outlook on life, that makes the good things shine that much brighter, you know? It's the concept that, you know, white shows up best on a black background, or black shows up best on a white background. You know, you need to have a contrast. The greater the contrast, the more prominent whatever it is you're trying to contrast shines or shows, whatever, you know? So by having depressing people like me around, people who are happy all the time will be happier, will seem happier. They will be able to rejoice in their happy stuff more. So, long story short, depressing people are fine. We need them. Okay? And again, these are all just my random old opinions. You can probably disagree. If you disagree, go ahead and tell me. That's why we have a comment thing. So yeah, depressing people. I'm a depressing person, that's okay. Next topic. This is one I've been wanting to talk about for a while now. Travelers. Okay. Speaking of me being a depressing person and hating humanity, these are one group of people that I'm not a particular fan of. Travelers bug the crap out of me. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to have time to finish this thought. I've only got a minute left before I'm going to quit. Then I'm going to eat, and then I'm going to go back to Overwatch and play with some friends. Yeah, and I'll save this for another time when hopefully there are more people watching. What time is it? 8:29. Wow, this is like spot on. I started this at a wonderful time. This is good. Really good. This is a good one. No, your mom, Shane. No, you. Let's see what you have to what you sent me. Calming baby. Good. Bad. Choosing a babysitter. Yes. No. Fun games for baby. Good. Bad. Bad. Introducing baby to pets. Safe. Unsafe. Well. Alright. And that will conclude this half hour of Chill Talk with yours truly. And hopefully we see you guys in the future. Bye-bye.